Spotlight.
This is Akashvani. In the program Spotlight, now we bring you a discussion on 122nd episode of Mann Ki Baat program. The participants are Shekhar Iyer, political analyst, and Vaibhav J. Srivastava, anchor.
The Honourable Prime Minister of the country, Shri Narendra Modi, addressed the nation in his historic and much loved program Mann Ki Baat. This time it was the 122nd edition of the show. The whole country, or rather the whole world, waits for the Prime Minister's Mann Ki Baat, which is indeed the nation's heart's sentiment, which he simply emanates through Akashvani and many other mediums. To discuss more on the 122nd episode of the monthly program Mann Ki Baat, we have with us a senior political analyst, Shri Shekhar Iyer. Mr. Iyer, welcome to the studios of Akashvani.
Thank you.
This time in the 122nd edition, it was rather a special edition for the whole of India, because it was all about the success and the resolute response of India's armed forces of India in the name of Operation Sindur. The Honourable Prime Minister said Operation Sindur is the new normal. He said trade and talk, terror and talks cannot go together when cross-border terrorism is something that is continuously on the rise. The Prime Minister emphasised why Operation Sindur was so significant.
ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के दौरान हमारी सेनाओं ने जो पराक्रम दिखाया है, उसने हर हिंदुस्तानी का सिर ऊंचा कर दिया है। जिस सटीकता के साथ हमारी सेनाओं ने सीमा पार के आतंकवादी ठिकानों को ध्वस्त किया, वो अद्भुत है। ऑपरेशन सिंदूर ने दुनिया भर में आतंक के खिलाफ लड़ाई को नया विश्वास और उत्साह दिया।
Mr. Iyer, your views on the success of Operation Sindur and what are its impacts on the future policy of India?
Vaibhav ji, as the Prime Minister, pointed out today in his Mann Ki Baat address, Operation Sindur was not just a military mission. It was a picture of our resolve, our courage, and of transforming India, and this picture of confidence and courage and valor has filled all of us with a sense of patriotism and has also united the people against the scourge or the menace of terrorism. This is a very big thing. As the Prime Minister said, this time this was done with a lot of self-restraint and also to ensure it was not escalated by us, rather to send out a message that there is a limit that India can bear this cross-border terrorism, and we struck at the terror bases, we struck at training centers for terrorists, and subsequently, when the Pakistan and its army did not really take the message that India was sending, that it was not against them but against terrorism, and when they targeted our civilian areas and our military facilities, then only India, with precision and accuracy, destroyed their infrastructure, an infrastructure that has been helping terrorism.
So the Prime Minister also mentioned about Tiranga Yatras and how a menace, which is terrorism, was propagated and then spread through violent means in India, and which inflicted harm upon the Indian citizens, was meant as a dividing force. But indeed, it did not divide, but it united India. Political parties came together. Parents said that it is important that children must learn about patriotism from a very young age. There were Tiranga Yatras. The Prime Minister also emphasized on this. Let's hear the Honourable Prime Minister's words on the Tiranga Yatra.
देश के कई शहरों में तिरंगा यात्राएं निकाली गई। हजारों लोग हाथों में तिरंगा लेकर देश की सेना, उसके प्रति वंदन अभिनंदन करने निकल पड़े। कितने ही शहरों में सिविल डिफेंस वॉलंटियर बनने के लिए बड़ी संख्या में युवा एकजुट हो गए। ऑपरेशन सिंदूर ने देश के लोगों को इतना प्रभावित किया है कि कई परिवारों ने इसे अपने जीवन का हिस्सा बना लिया है।
Mr. Iyer, your views on this?
Indeed, we saw this Tiranga Yatra was a spontaneous outburst of, gratitude to our armed forces, to our government. As the Prime Minister pointed out, in several of our cities and villages and small towns, we saw Tiranga Yatras being spontaneously organized without any political shade, everybody out on the streets carrying the national tricolor as a way of expressing gratitude to our armed forces for the fantastic work they did. And we saw in many cities a larger number of youth came forward and willing to serve the nation. They were willing to be civil defense volunteers. They were willing to do whatever that was necessary to protect the integrity and the security of this country. That is why many children took to painting, which carried a lot of messages in them. And the Prime Minister himself referred how when he visited Bikaner recently, he saw that how children were painted and they gave gifts of their painting to the Prime Minister. So Operation Sindur has influenced the people of country so much that families have made it, part of their lives. In fact, in Kathiar in Bihar and Kushinagar in Uttar Pradesh, children born during this period have been named Sindur. So one can see how this decision of the government, this operation, following the horrible Pahalgam incident, where 26 innocent people were killed by the terrorists, and more so, at least 25 of them were killed because of their religion, which is what really upset a lot of us. And the government responded to the will of the people and showed what our armed forces can deliver in terms of repulsing these attacks.
So it truly means that Operation Sindur was not just a success of India's brilliant military might and the fact that we have indeed one of the best militaries in the world, but it was also a success of the fact that we will not be tolerating terrorism. We will always be ready and we will not have any third-party interference in this.
Absolutely. I mean, there was no need for any confusion in this regard. It has been our stated policy. We do not brook any interference. We do not brook any third-party role. You see, after the US President Trump said that both these countries have agreed on a ceasefire, it was made out as if it was the United States which has brought about ceasefire, which was far from truth. And unfortunately, some opposition leaders in India have been trying to use this against our government, but that is not fact. The fact is, because of Operation Sindur, particularly on the manner in which our Indian Air Force struck at the air bases and the military installations on May 10, it was Pakistan which sought the help of the US to convey the message of that they wanted a pause in this operation because they could not take it anymore because they had suffered a severe. That is the truth. So therefore, so much of misinformation and so much of attempt to confuse our people has been foiled by things being stated very clearly that our new policy on terrorism, which is what? An act of terrorism henceforth will be declared an act of war in India, number one. Number two, whoever it may be, whether they are state actors, non-state actors, anybody who encourages terrorism or indulges in terrorism or supports terrorism, be it individuals or the government, they'll be treated as a whole. And third, more importantly, Vaibhavji, Prime Minister had made very clear, India will not subject itself to any blackmail, particularly nuclear blackmail by Pakistan or any other country.
The other spheres which the Honourable Prime Minister touched upon were Fit India, Yoga, the authentic lifestyle which Indians have followed. He has always stressed that if we are healthy, if we are ready to go, we are raring to go, the country will be developed much faster. He talked about Bastar Olympics and Khelo India as well.
खेलो इंडिया यूथ गेम्स का ये पहला आयोजन था जो ओलंपिक चैनल के जरिए दुनिया भर में पहुंचा। पूरे विश्व के लोगों ने हमारे युवा खिलाड़ियों की प्रतिभा को देखा और सराहा। मैं सभी पदक विजेताओं, विशेषकर टॉप के 3 विनर्स महाराष्ट्र, हरियाणा और राजस्थान को बधाई देता हूं। इस बार खेलो इंडिया में कुल 26 रिकॉर्ड बने। वेट लिफ्टिंग स्पर्धाओं में महाराष्ट्र की अस्मिता धोने, ओडिशा के हर्षवर्धन साहू और उत्तर प्रदेश के तुषार चौधरी के शानदार प्रदर्शन ने सबका दिल जीत लिया। जो खेलता है वही खिलता है।
Mr. Iyer, your views on the fact that the Prime Minister always, however busy he might be, however crucial the time might be, he always emphasizes on why and how we as a country, as a people, should stay healthy.
Absolutely. In fact, the Prime Minister has taken it upon as a special mission to promote, Fit India. And all these campaigns like International Yoga Day or whether it is Khelo India, the message is that we as Indians, we need to pay attention to our health, our fitness, particularly what we eat, how much we eat, when do we eat, because this land has been blessed with traditional health sciences like Ayurveda,
Absolutely.
which have emphasized fitness all along. And Prime Minister in today's Mann Ki Baat particularly referred to sugar boards that are being installed in some schools, not blackboard but sugar board. And this unique initiative is by the Central Board of Secondary Education, which is to make children aware of the sugar they take, the sugar intake, be it chocolates or candy or other sweets, that right from childhood, children must be aware of the dangers of, consuming too much of white sugar, which is considered, ultimately it leads to sometimes diabetes, even in childhood, and also diabetes of 1 and the 2 types in the later adulthood too. That is why Prime Minister has been saying right from childhood, we have to inculcate healthy lifestyle habits. And many parents have appreciated it. And this thing is now picking up very fast because, as Prime Minister says, Fit India is the foundation of a very strong India.
The region of the Northeast has always been very, very close to the Honourable Prime Minister's heart. His policies have also showed the same. This time too, the Honourable Prime Minister talked about the Northeast region and why it is an absolute necessity for India to be developed, that the Northeast should also be developed.
क्राफ्टेड फाइबर्स ये सिर्फ एक ब्रांड नहीं, सिक्किम की परंपरा, बुनाई की कला और आज के फैशन की सोच, तीनों का सुंदर संगम है। इसकी शुरुआत की डॉक्टर चेवांग नोरबू भूटिया ने। पैसे से वो वेटरनरी डॉक्टर है और दिल से सिक्किम की संस्कृति के सच्चे ब्रांड एम्बेसडर। उन्होंने पारंपरिक बुनाई को मॉडर्न फैशन से जोड़ा और इसे बनाया एक सोशल एंटरप्राइज। अब उनके यहाँ केवल कपड़े नहीं बनते, उनके यहाँ जिंदगियां बुनी जाती है।
Yes, in the last 1 decade, we have seen Prime Minister Modi's government has been giving special attention to Northeast. All the states in the Northeast have been receiving special packages, special schemes and special programs. And recently, Prime Minister inaugurated the first of the summit called the Rising Northeast Summit. Before that, we have seen celebration called the Ashtalakshmi Mahotsav, which is to celebrate the rich heritage and cultures of all these 7 sisters of the Northeast. Now, Prime Minister today's Mann Ki Baat specially referred to how that there is something extraordinary about Northeast in terms of people's strength, people's talent. It's truly amazing. And the Prime Minister today spoke about, rather in fact mentioned the interesting story about the crafted fibers. And crafted fibers is a concept, it's a part of the tradition of weaving in Sikkim. And Prime Minister in particular mentioned the work done by Dr. Chewang Norbu Bhutia, who is a veterinary doctor by profession and has now turned out to be a brand ambassador, where we are seeing, he has come with this new thing called crafted fibers, and these are fibers which are up to date in terms of fashion and fashion wear, and this has given a lot of jobs to people of Sikkim. And in the process, this crafted weaving involves using normal fiber, wool of sheep and other animals. And this is now, in short, there is a connectivity between village weavers who are doing these crafted fibers, cattle rearers, and self-help groups have come. So Prime Minister in particular mentioned that how crafted fiber shawls and stoles and gloves and socks, all these are local handloom and these are now finding new markets. And Prime Minister feels there are similarly success stories in waiting to happen in many of the northeastern states.
So we hope that the Prime Minister's message goes loud and clear to the nooks and corners of the country, and India as a country truly stays ahead and steadfast on its path to becoming a Viksit Bharat, to becoming developed by 2047. Thank you so much for being with us and discussing the importance and the relevance of the Prime Minister's Mann Ki Baat's 122nd edition.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You were listening to a discussion on 122nd episode of Mann Ki Baat program. The participants were Shekhar Iyer, political analyst, and Vaibhav J. Srivastav, anchor. This program was produced and presented by the News Services Division of Akashvani. You can listen to it on our mobile app, News on AIR. This program is also available on our YouTube channel, News on AIR Official. You may share your feedback about this program through email at airnsttalks@gmail.com or WhatsApp on 9289094044.
Spotlight.